What's good, Souls of Thought family? It's your boy Norris, and I'm here just to let you know I appreciate all your support, all your comments, all your likes, and I'm here to let you know that if you have made it this far, that means you just clicked on the video and you just showed me how important it is to hear my opinion. I want to hear your opinion. But with that being said, I need you to like, comment, and subscribe. It's very important that if we want to be able to have open and transparent conversations, we must like, comment, and subscribe. The only way to get free thinkers like myself and you to get into the algorithm on YouTube or any other platform is to make sure that we like, comment, and subscribe. The subscribing is not as important as the likes, but make sure that you do them all if you have the time. But again, thank you for just entering this video. And I hope this video provides you with some type of information that you wasn't aware of. And I hope Souls of Thought is here to continue to run through your thoughts. As I always say, like, comment, and subscribe. And your boy's out. Let go.
An offer or a threat? This morning, millions of federal workers are faced with a choice: stay in their jobs with an uncertain future, or leave the government, leave their jobs with a buyout from the Trump administration. The White House made the offer in an abrupt email to employees with the subject line, a fork in the road. And the clock is ticking. Federal workers have just over a week to decide if they stay. The administration is making clear their job still might not be there for long. It's part of Trump's push to dramatically shrink the size of government. One federal employee, though, tells CNN that people are stunned, pissed, baffled, and a bit scared. This is also only part of the latest episode of Donald Trump chaos. There's still mass confusion about what program.
So, as you heard, federal workers receive the letter titled "Fork in the Road." Horrible title. I'm not gonna sit here and say that was a good title. A lot of people saying the email actually is similar to what Tesla workers receive from Elon Musk. So, just something to think about there. With that being said, there's a couple things that I want to discuss with you guys as you're making this decision. For those who do know, I am a retired veteran. I have people who are working in federal positions now, people who have GS jobs, things of that nature. I also have received some inside information, so I kind of just want to share that with people before they make their decision. With that being said, the first thing I want you guys to understand that these things are happening in phases. And in the corporate world, when things like this happen, they happen in phases. And the first thing is called negative out, or you'll hear people say neg out, something like that. Not the N word, neg out. It's negative out, and what that is when people get abrupt information, it hits them hard, and they fully respond off of emotion. They quit without hearing what's going to be other options. They stop coming to work. They make themselves pretty much uh, unusable. For perfect example for this, it's not a federal example, but for what's going on with Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy Butler is going to be a negative out for the Heat, but they're going to receive a positive. They're suspending him indefinitely. So every dime they were going to pay him per game, they're going to keep in their pocket. Whatever contract money that was underneath that, they're going to keep in their pocket. And that's a negative out. We called it a negative out because you chose to take a negative route out of the company or the business that's going to eventually receive the company a positive. So, as I highly encourage people as you're receiving this information to please not be a negative out. Do not allow your emotions to make you lose the bag. Do not miss out on money because you're overly emotional. Have your emotion, process your emotion, and then now you need to look at next steps.
Programs are really being impacted by President Trump's plan to freeze federal aid. Programs like Head Start, Meals on Wheels, agricultural programs, low income housing assistance, all in limbo. For now, that freeze, though, is frozen. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the White House move.
And that's another thing. As you heard, a judge actually temporarily blocked the move. And this is what I was trying to explain to those people on social media, on Facebook, everybody who was fear mongering everybody. Executive orders still have to go through a process. People can still halt these things, as you will see on the video that I put out about the Air Force history. Somebody could have stopped that. You know why it wasn't stopped? Because the Air Force did not feel that history was important. And we don't want to hear the truth. And that's the issue. These things, just because we don't like something doesn't mean there's not an action that we can't take. We get so emotional about things when they happen that it allows us to run out of time. And that's what you don't want to do. So these things have been put on frozen. Just because I support some of the things that Trump do, I will also tell you the things that I don't support or that I don't like. Like, I didn't like what happened with the Illinois governor having to come out and say that their benefits were frozen after the press conference literally said that they weren't going to freeze those things. I do not agree with that because I'm all about honesty. I do not care just because, like, I'm not that type of person that just because I vote for something, or because we all vote off of what benefits us individually. A lot of times people think we vote as like groups and stuff. Like, no, you vote off of what benefits you. If you're not worrying about your financial life, if you have investments, if you have those things, a lot of times you don't really concern yourself with the things that other people might deem important, right? Like, I never got assistance for housing, I never received anything like WIC, I never received welfare. Like, so when I don't think about those things doesn't even come across my mind. Doesn't mean that they're not important, but they're not important to me. So when you hear my viewpoint, that's the reason why I have the view I have, because I had to fight and earn everything that I receive. And I feel everybody has that same ability, period. With that being said, as I mentioned, executive orders, just because they're signed doesn't mean they're going to go through. So let's stop fear mongering. Let's stop getting everybody afraid of what's going to be next. And this. No, just let the process play itself out and just keep moving forward. But remember these things when you're voting locally. Let me say that again. When you're voting locally, remember those things, right? Because those things are going to be the things that you should really be looking into voting. Don't just put somebody in there because they're a Democrat or they're a Republican. Look at what they're actually looking to push, because you now see what the head of the House, President Trump, what his things that are important. So now you got to make sure, okay, the president has this. This is what's okay. I don't like that the president has this. So let me see what how my governor thinks about things. Let me see how my mayor thinks about things. Let me see how my state senator thinks about things. Let me go all the way down to the aldermans. Everything you have to start viewing everything from a bottom up situation, right? So your local are going to be the people who eventually, if they believe the same thing, you know that, okay, this person's going to possibly vote on what that is, and I don't like that, so I need to look for a candidate who kind of believes the way I believe. Just because I like Trump or I like some of the things that he does doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and not educate people on what they should do. Just doesn't make sense.
Move to halt all of these grants and loans. CNN's Elena Trine following all of this. John said it right, an avalanche of developments today. What is the very latest that you're learning, Elena?
That's right. I do want to start with what you first mentioned, Kate, which was this email that was sent to all 2 million federal workers last night, offering them a buyout. As you mentioned, I think you put it perfectly, with an uncertain future. They can quit their jobs and be paid through September 30th, or stick around and figure out whether or not they will be forced to resign. Now,
so listen to that. So if you choose to buy out, you from February to September the 30th, the end of the fiscal year, you're going to be able to get paid. And a little birdie of mine told me that 2 million sounds like a lot to people, but that's not a lot. It's a lot of federal jobs out there. It's a lot of military branches. You got to think about it in the scheme of things. 2 million sounds like a lot, but it's not. You got to think about it. When I was a cop, I would one flight. It'll be like a flight. It's like what we consider like a squadron, or let's say like your shift would be our flight. And when I was in nuclear weapons, we had over 400 people arming up in one flight, and then we would have 4 flights per like four like flights within little small little companies, right? So you might have Alpha Flight, and they can have 4 different flights. So like right there alone, that's 1,600 people. So let's say if you had Alpha through Echo, which will be Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Echo. So that's 4. You got what I said, 1,600, 1,600 times 4, what you looking at? 6,400. You know what I mean? You round it up with all the admin people and stuff. You got like 7,000 people in one squadron. So that's not a lot when you think about the 2 million being cut. So I will tell you this: I did get some inside information, and if you receive that letter, I would highly encourage you to do 2 things. The first one will be take the buyout. It's 9 months. You don't have to come into work. Some of you guys don't want to come into work who are remote. That's 9 months that they're going to pay you to not even have to do anything, lift a finger, nothing. Your spot's going to be filled. I mean, somebody else will take on your workload, which they probably are anyway. And then you get to go find out what you want to do. You can double dip into the system. You can go get you a second job. They're not holding you to anything. They're going to pay you for that 9-month window. The reason why I'm saying 9 months, because you got January, and then you have February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So just say if you took it today, you resign, it'll start officially, and then you'll get paid twice a month. That's 18 paychecks in 9 months that you're going to receive. And the reason why I say that's the first thing I would say. I would say take it if I was in your spot. Second thing I would say, if you choosing not to take it, you need to sit down with whoever your leadership is or your superior or your supervisor, and you need to have a transparent conversation. Because I'm going to tell you this, a little birdie let me know that if you receive one of them letters, your spot has already been vetted. These letters just didn't go out to random people. And this almost happened before, because a lot of people don't know about this. So when I was in the military, this actually came up around 2023, early 2023. Like, this was actually happening in our med group. They were having meetings about like who were they going to let go, what could we do without, what type of positions could we change from government to like contracted position. Like, these talks has happened throughout my whole career. And as you move up in the chain of command, you start to hear more and more of these conversations. With that being said, those 2 million people who received that letter, trust me, your positions have been vetted. And probably out of 2 million of those positions, I guarantee you, if not half, at least 70, no, if not half, at least 30% of those positions were created and given to somebody who either retired and they were a higher rank and they just put them into that spot, or as a position that was created out of necessity just because we had more funds. But I'm going to tell you this: if you receive that letter, your position has been vetted. So I would highly encourage you to have a very transparent conversation with your leadership and ask them, hey, do you feel like if I don't take this buy, I'm going to be safe? And they're not going to be able to, nobody should be telling you yes, because they just told you on here that it's a good possibility that your job is still going to be day to day, year to year, month to month. That's not how I would want to live when somebody's giving me a 9-month head start to give me a new career, a new job, and be able to double dip. Because there are some people making a lot of good money in the federal system. So those are just my 2 opinions. I would say 1, take the buyout. That's my opinion. 2 would be, if you choosing not to take that buyout, you need to sit down with someone that you trust and find out how secure is your position. And you need to ask them that question: have I been vetted already? Have you guys really already had the talk behind the scenes that, hey, we can go without this program? And I'm going to tell you this: if you're a federal worker and you're a civilian federal worker, just think about it this way, right? If there's a military person sitting right next to you that does the same thing when you're not there, or they work with you, it's a good chance they're going to let you go, because your job can already be done by a military person. Now, it might be different when you think about other places like the Pentagon and DEI, things of that nature. But just remember, these spots have been vetted. And your money is secure because your money has already been allocated for the fiscal year. So you know you're going to get paid. And for those who don't know, the fiscal year restarts itself in October. So their money's good into the end of September. So just something to think about.
Now, this is just the latest stunning move we've seen by the Trump White House, really to reshape the federal workforce in Donald Trump's image. Now, one thing to be clear on, as I said, this was sent to all 2 million federal workers, but there are some exemptions, I'm told, by a spokesperson from the Office of Personnel Management, which sent this out. These are the exceptions that they noted that would not be included in this buyout. It includes postal workers, military workers, immigration officials, certain national security roles, and any other roles that these different agencies deem as being necessary. Now, another thing I'm told is that the Trump administration is trying to frame this buyout as being an off-ramp for people who do not want to return to work full-time. We know that last week we saw Donald Trump issue a directive that said all people who have flexible schedules, remote schedules, have to come back to work full-time. They're saying this could be a good option for that. But again, this is being offered widespread throughout the government. I do want to read for you just some of what was in that email that was sent to all of these employees last night. It said, quote, "At this time, we cannot give you full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated."
Now think about that. See, I listen to words. And some of you guys are going to say, oh, but she just said these are the positions that are safe. Postal workers, military, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. Because then she just read this in the Fork of the Road memo. At this time, we cannot give full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated. So who's to say that all of a sudden enough people don't take the buyout, which some people won't? They're going to say, you know what, man, maybe we can cut those some of those postal workers then, because we didn't get the number that we were desiring. Maybe we can eliminate some of those military positions because we didn't get the number. Trust me, this stuff has happened before, y'all. Speaking from myself for the Air Force, this happened. This happened in 2013, going into 2014. I was deployed in the desert, and they were sending people home from the desert because we did large cuts. They came out with it, and they were just sending people home, cutting people. And during that time, that's when I really understood that, hey, you can be gone any second. So please pay attention. She said one thing, but then she reads another thing. So pay attention. Again, just because I might not be a liberal, just because I might be conservative, doesn't mean that I don't have reality and I don't see things from both sides of the house. I do. And that's what I'm trying to do on this channel, is give you guys information, but give it to you so that you're really paying attention. I have no emotions. I have nothing in the game. I don't have anything to gain from this. So really remember that. Let me go back to what she said at first, the people that were going to be exempt. Let's see.
In that email that was sent to all of these employees last night. It said, quote, "At this time, we cannot give you full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated, you will be treated with dignity and will be afforded the protections in place for such positions." Now, as you mentioned, Kate, as well, workers have until February 6th, which is just a week from tomorrow, to decide whether or not they want to opt for this type of buyout. Now, one other thing as well that's just, can't be lost in this is Elon Musk's involvement. We are told that Musk had long been wanting to do this, and he was very involved in the crafting of this effort. And the subject line that came on that email that was sent to all of these employees last night was a fork in the road, very reminiscent of an email we know he sent to Twitter employees in 2022 before we saw a lot of the firings that happened there. So
Twitter, not Tesla. My apologies. Twitter, not Tesla.
Again, a massive change to the federal workforce. We'll have to see how many people end up actually taking this and what could happen thereafter.
Can I ask?
So, just something to think about there, guys. They're giving you the information. They're putting it right in front of you. And it's going to come a point where you have to make a decision what's best for you. But I would highly encourage you to really look into this. And like I said, I know people, I've talked to people Those jobs are not secure. These jobs have been vetted. Those people names had to be given out. That list was created by someone. So just think about what you have to do, what's going on, and just be aware of that. And I'm here to give you just an unbiased opinion, man. Just because I'm conservative, just because I have conservative thoughts and the way I live my life, doesn't mean that I won't give information that I feel is beneficial, and that doesn't mean that I won't disagree with people. We can agree to disagree. That's life. But I do want you guys to always be able to receive real time information and see what's going on. But just be aware, be aware. But hey, 9 months of paid free labor, hey, I'll take it. So as I always tell you guys, God loves you, which is most importantly. I love you. You're beautiful, and your boy's out. There you go.